How you would set up OBS, and I'll take you through a couple of steps that will help you. First of all, the best way to view things is to go down here to the controls panel and click studio mode. If you just have the non-studio mode, it's what you see on the screen is going to be live. So if you do the studio mode, it gives you these two screens. The program mode on the right hand side is what's live, and you can move around the preview on the left to show different things. So for example, I could just pull up the scene worship, then I could say, well, actually I want the title slide, so I'll turn that off and go to the title slide, or if I put that back on, that will go up, and until I hit this transition bar in the middle, it won't click across. So if I put the transition, then it'll go across to there. Then if you want to change back, you just can click across, and then you can move to a different thing, different scene as you want to go through. So that's how you do the scenes. In the settings, you want to just click on the settings. If you go to the stream, you can click this Get Stream button, and that will send you to YouTube if you've selected YouTube as the service, and it will let you get the stream key for your stream up there. Make sure that that is all okay. The other thing is that you want to check all of your different settings to make sure that they match, and if you match your resolution and your canvas size, it's going to be the best for helping your computer with that. In terms of the layout of your OBS, first of all, you want to have a number of scenes down here on the left-hand side, and they're the overarching system that you want to use. And then within each scene, you've got various different sources, which is next to it, and you've also got the audio there. Now, there's two ways that you can use OBS and use scenes. The first one is that you would actually use a number of parts of your church service and have the section of your church service as the title of the scene. So for example, in the intro, that would be the maybe the title slide, and so that would be, at the start you're going to be going to that. You could then say, for example, have service leaders. So throughout the service, whenever service leaders are speaking, you just click on the service leaders and know that it's flicking to them. You could put up a worship leader and that type of thing. In this method of doing it, we're using pre-recorded worship songs, so we would just switch to the worship songs, and all of those are listed here, and it'll go across from there. And then when we go to the sermon, although we would have this set up for the camera that the preacher would be preaching to, but the other advantage is that you can put some sermon slides in. So if you've got a slide that takes up the whole screen, for example, you could do this, and when that goes up on the screen, the audio would stay going, but the preacher's slide would go up. Another option is that you could do what they call a picture-in-picture view, and so you could actually have a picture come up next to the preacher, a bit like they have in the television news. So that's the first way of setting up your scenes. The second way to set up your scenes is to actually do it by the device. So if you've got something coming from the webcam of a set computer, such as this, then if anyone wants to use the webcam, they just click on that webcam and go straight to that. We have a Canon M50, which I haven't set up, but someone could just click on the Canon M50 and go straight to that, and know that if we want to get any scene, whether it's an intro or a prayer or worship or something from the Canon M50, we're just pulling that. We also have an iPhone, which again I haven't set up here, but if we had an iPhone set up as one of the cameras, which we do on a Sunday, we could just click on that. So this system is probably good to use both if you're working with some beginners. We tend to have the different parts of the service at the top, and someone can just work through from the top to the bottom so that they can get a service done. If they freak out and they just think, well, I've got to go to the Canon M50, they could just click on that and load it up and it would go. Or we've just got to go to the iPhone and the camera there, and they can just click on that and load that up. But probably not good for them to show the webcam and see them stressing out. But if that's one of the two methods, and the key with all of that is to make sure that you've also put in the sound link into whatever device you're using, and make sure that you've got the system set up for all the slides that you need. One thing to remember when you get across to the sources, which is the next one in from scenes, whatever is at the top of that is going to show above something that's lower on that. So, for example, with the sermons, if I've got this, if I want to show this sermon slide on Matthew 25, because I've got the one at the highest still also with the showing, it's actually going to block. So I actually have to turn off everything above the slide that I want to show. And again, because I've got the sermon slides showing, it's actually cutting off the camera underneath. So that's one thing to keep in mind, that anything that's at the top is going to show before anything else. Well, that's roughly how you want to lay it out. The only other thing to think through is the audio. At the moment, I haven't got all of the things connected, but you can see if you pull up the properties, you can actually audio monitor, which you can have it just going directly to your live feed. You can mute the audio output, or you can actually have the monitoring it and the output as well. Which what that means is if you've got a team who want to, you probably want to monitor the sound coming out of your worship songs if they're pre-recorded or any pre-recorded videos, so you know when that's finished. But if you've got anything live, you don't want that monitored, or you're going to hear a feedback loop happen. So that's just a little thing to do with the sound. And just remember that you start on the studio mode, you feed up the scene that you want to have, the preview is the one that's coming up next, and your program is what's going live, and when you want to make that transition, you just make that transition. Well, I hope that helps, and I hope that's a good way for you to set up your church service on OBS, and good luck with all your streaming.